Good Basil YouTube, 6fthax here. Happy you guys today. Finally a proper Wi-Fi battle for you guys. Of course, if y'all do enjoy the video, make sure to hammer arm that like button down below. And to answer the question of the day, now today's question of the day is one of those question of the days where we're just gonna kind of stray from the normal, because yesterday I felt like I was dying when I woke up. I don't know why. So let me know if you guys have ever felt like that. Just the question is on the screen, obviously. So we are facing Argon. Found him on my Discord. I think I uploaded before him as well, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely go check him out, guys. Again, if y'all would like to battle me, feel free to come check out my Discord. Now I'm using a pretty cool team I got off of the forums with a really awesome Gigalith set. Like, this match alone just made me really appreciate Gigalith a whole lot more, because I always thought Gigalith was an absolutely terrible Pokemon, and even after Sandstream I was like, I don't really think Gigalith is all that great, but Gigalith puts in some work in this match. So going into this game, I saw that Argon had a kind of weird team. It's kind of crazy to think that Necrozma and Cresselia are an RU. I almost thought that they were UU, and I was gonna say, wait a minute, but I checked, and yeah, they are RU. So those are kind of a little bit scary. Luckily though, you have Zoroark and Mismagius, so I can kind of deal with Necrozma and Cresselia, which are the two biggest issues, I think. Slurpuff late game could maybe be a problem, so I really gotta watch out for that. But yeah, he ended up leading off with the Espeon, which I'm able to easily beat 1v1. I'm not sure why he just spammed these Dazzling Gleam. Why did I say Dazzling? Dazzling Gleam, probably because he didn't want me to get a free switch into my Zoroark, which Zoroark actually can put in a lot of work to his team, especially with the proper predictions. As I knock out the Espeon, in comes the Slurpuff, and I'm thinking, oh crap, this thing is about to belly drum, and I'm gonna get swept not even 5 turns into this match. But he goes for Cotton Guard. Now, funny enough, I've not seen or used Cotton Guard Slurpuff since like X and Y NU. So after I saw Cotton Guard, I'm thinking, crap, he can have Calm Mind, and he is the double setup Slurpuff. And I remember using this set back in early X and Y NU, man. Slurpuff was an absolute monster. Eventually Slurpuff got banned from NU though, but I remember using this set and absolutely destroying people with it. So I'm very terrified that he could maybe be a mono attacking set. There's also the chance that he's just Cotton Guard, Calm Mind, Fairy Stab, and either like Fire Blast or Surf. So he doesn't have Rest, but Resto Chesto could have been like worst case scenario. So that's kind of how I'm playing around this Slurpuff right now. So I was pretty positive that he wouldn't go for the rest right now if he did have it, so I hard switch right into my Mismagius, as luckily he does go for a second Calm Mind. Now I will definitely be able to go for the taunt, stop him from potentially resting or setting up another Cotton Guard or another Calm Mind. Even at +2, there's no way that this Slurpuff should be able to knock me out. As it turns out, he's got the Draining Kiss, which is kind of good because this means he's doing a lot less damage. The only downside though is that he's going to be gaining back more HP, which is really annoying, because it's going to be a little bit harder to take this down, because Slurpuff could very well sweep me depending on how things go. So I have to be careful on how I play around this. So I unfortunately have to lose my Mismagius here, because I have no switch-ins to this Slurpuff. I need to get off this never-ending nightmare, and the downside of me losing my Mismagius is now Necrozma and Cresselia could become huge problems, because my only way of dealing with them now is Zoroark. So that could be a little bit bad. So he does end up having the Citrus Berry, which is a little bit annoying, because now the Slurpuff is going to live like an extra turn or two. Luckily though, I do still have my Spadef bulky Gigalith here, or it's got a lot of special defensives, but I think this Gigalith is adamant, as opposed to another team that I had Careful. So either way, I gained the +1 in my Spadef thanks to the sand. So it's only like this Slurpuff is at +1 special attack as opposed to +2, and because I'm very positive he's not going to expect me to have the protect, I'm gonna go for it right away, racking up an extra turn of toxic damage. And now at this point, even if he is going to not do a lot of damage to me here, he's not going to gain back enough HP to where he's going to live another turn, is what I was trying to say. He does unfortunately though get a crit, and that was a little bit annoying, because he could maybe live this turn, although I do still have Protect, so I guess it wouldn't be entirely too bad. Just the fact that he was able to do that extra bit of damage to my Gigalith could come back to hurt me later in this game, because I also still need Gigalith to check that Houndoom, and now I'm at a lower HP, which, like I said, could be very bad. So in comes the Necrozma. Obviously, I don't want this to just freely set up or status anything. I want to potentially switch into it, and because I'm very positive he can't knock me out in any one hit, and that he's not going to go for the substitute, I'm going to go for the Toxic. So I'm going to be able to put this Necrozma on a timer, much like the Slurpuff, which is excellent, because if he was like an offensive Calm Mind Thunder Wave set, I guess, then this just makes it not even a problem anymore. But either way, getting off this Toxic is going to mean Necrozma is not going to be as huge of an issue for me to deal with. Now, I'm in not too bad of a predicament here, because I can definitely switch out if I really wanted to, but there's the fear that he can either go for the Thunder Wave or go for the Psychic. So if I mispredict, then I can either get my Zoroark paralyzed, or I lose my Hitmonlee. So I stay in, also thinking that maybe he would try and switch out. So I go for the Toxic, I get fully paralyzed. Actually, the fact that I got paralyzed is kind of good for me, because now he doesn't know what I'm going to go for. So he may not be thinking that I'm going to go for the Toxic. So hoping that he does switch out here, I'm going to try and go for the Toxic once more, as he actually ends up going for the Psychic, and I get fully paralyzed. Again, obviously that second paralysis didn't matter. First one also didn't really matter. I guess I could have rock blasted, but I don't really think that extra chip damage would have come in too handy. And there's also the chance that I could have just gone for Protect. If I got fully paralyzed on a Protect, that might have been a little bit annoying, but those two paras in a row I really don't think mattered, as I don't get paralyzed this turn because I'm thinking he's going to go for the Psychic, but he actually ends up going for the Thunder Wave, thinking that I would switch out. Now, that's what I was trying to say this and that, but that is a little bit problematic, because now we're back to the 50-50 scenario of, is he gonna go for Thunder Wave predicting my switch, or is he gonna Psychic me just to be aggressive? And if I get that misprediction wrong, it's going to be really bad for me. So I make a middle ground play here and actually bring in my Shaman, which doesn't care about the psychic damage because I'm full HP, and I don't care about the Thunder Wave because I have Natural Cure. Now this is a pretty interesting Shaman set. I got the set off of another team, but I just liked it a lot better on this team because I felt like this team needed a Scarfer. But it's like max HP, max speed Shaman with Healing Wish, Seed Flare, Earth Power, and Psychic. So while it doesn't have max special attack, it's still doing decent damage just because Shaman is more or less a revenge killer, and Seed Flare already has such a high damage output with stab behind it. Even if you don't have max special attack or any special attack investment, Shaman can still do a lot of damage, as I'm able to knock out the Necrozma with the combination of Seed Flare and Toxic. In comes the Houndoom, which has me absolutely terrified because this thing can just go for a Fire Blast and roast me. So I'm gonna switch out into my Diamond Crust here, my Shiny Gigalith. I actually really like Shiny Gigalith. I didn't say this at the beginning of the battle, but Shiny Gigalith is really, really awesome. I think this is a very underrated Shiny. I feel like it's always overlooked, but just I love the color scheme. I love the purple and the blue, man. It looks so nice. It really does. It really, really does. So he's gonna end up going for the Destiny Bond. I'm guessing he couldn't knock me out with any one hit because he's not Life Orb, which would make sense. So I essentially get a free or safe switch into my Gigalith here. Unfortunately, have to take the Dark Pulse damage. Don't get paralyzed or flinched, and I'm gonna be able to go for the Toxic again, thinking that maybe he would switch out and not wanting to give him that free switch into Girder, which could be absolutely terrible, or also give him that free switch into a potential like sub Calm Mind Cresselia. Now I know it's a little bit odd that I want a Toxic Girder, but the main reasoning behind that is that I just want to rack up that residual damage with Toxic and Sand, to put it in range of where I can just revenge kill it with one of my Pokemon without having to worry about Girder being at too high HP to where it can not only live one hit but take down a Pokemon with it before I can take it down. So that's another reason why I would rather just spam Toxic in this scenario as opposed to be aggressive with the Rock Blast. And the turn that I want a Toxic, I get fully paralyzed, and he switches into Girder, and this is now really bad because this Girder could very well single-handedly beat me at this point because I had to lose my Mismagius so early on in the battle. So expecting him to go for either the bulk up or the knockoff, I'm actually going to switch into my Hitmonlee knockoff because he could have maybe thought I was going to switch in the Shaman and he wanted to get rid of my Scarf, or he just wanted to get rid of the leftovers on my Gigalith. Drain Punch also wouldn't have been a bad play, but I could have lived that either way. But I wasn't expecting him to go for Drain Punch right away, is the initial thought process that I'm trying to tell you guys. So I'm able to knock off the girder here, which is excellent because now he doesn't have that +1 in his special defense, which means my Specs Kommo-o here has a chance to knock him out with the clanging scales, although Focus Blast had a greater chance of knocking him out. If I had missed Focus Blast, I probably just lost the battle. So I needed to get off this extra damage on Girder here, as luckily he goes for the Ice Punch and not the Drain Punch. I might have actually been able to live Drain Punch, and I doubt he would have been brought back up to over like 60 or 70%, so he should have still been in range of where my Shaman could have come in and potentially revenge killed him. If not, then that could have actually been really bad because I might have lost. So I don't know if him going for the Ice Punch over the Drain Punch there really mattered. But either way, not concerned about it, as I'm going to be able to knock out the Girder here. If he had been able to live this and Drain Punched, I might have been able to live Drain Punch plus Mach Punch, and then if I got this with Death Drop, I could have knocked him out. So just a lot of theory modding that could have happened if he had gone for Drain Punch instead of Ice Punch against my Kommo-o. As in comes the Houndoom. I am Scarfed. No chance this Houndoom is going to be faster than me because he is not Scarfed, and we found that out earlier. As down it goes, and at this point his last Pokemon is the Cresselia, which funny enough, Cresselia can still win this battle because my Zoroark is actually a Swords Dance Jolly Life Orb set. So if he's like Colbur Berry or Max Defense, Max HP, he can easily chew one knockoff, and then Moonblast does enough damage to where after rocks, 2 Life Orb hits knock me out. So at this point I'm thinking all I need to do is just get off a little bit of chip damage on Cresselia. There's a very good chance he doesn't have any special attack investment because normally Cresselia are defensively invested or speed invested. So I'm going to be able to get off some damage with Seed Flare here, bring in Zoroark, Swords Dance, and then at +2 knockoff with Life Orb is guaranteed to knock out Cresselia. I always live one non-invested Moonblast after Stealth Rocks, so I'm really not too scared here about what he wants to do, as he's going to knock me out with one final Moonblast. Even if he had tried to just stall out my Seed Flares, I don't really think that he would have got up to enough HP to where he would have been able to live a +2 knockoff from my Zoroark. So I'm gonna bring in Zoroark here. Obviously this is not Gigalith because Gigalith has been worn down and paralyzed, man. Gigalith, I think, was definitely the MVP in this match, man. Gigalith did a lot in this battle, as funny enough Cresselia just barely lives on like 1 or 2%, so he's gonna be able to get off a decent amount of damage with the Moonblast. Like I said, I can live one, and I'm gonna be able to knock him out with the second knockoff, and because I do still have Gigalith in the back, that is going to be the very narrow 1-0 victory in my favor. So good game to Argon there. I got really scared at the beginning of the match when I saw Slurpuff go for Cotton Guard, and then Girder also could have just swept me late game, which is crazy. So I think I played around both of those decently well and was able to pull out the W. So hopefully y'all did enjoy the battle, guys, and the video in general. Make sure to hammer on that like button down below and to answer the question of the day, because it would make me feel a lot better to know I am not the only one who feels like he's dying on certain days when he wakes up for like hours and then just suddenly feels, man, I still don't know what was going on yesterday. Either way though, that's the end of the battle. So check out 2 videos on that screen if you want to. Love your faces, love your comments, your likes, all that, guys. Still very close to 18,000 subscribers, so pretty excited about that. Thank you all for watching, guys. Later, everybody.
Cause my brain and heart are both tied in a knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot. This causing me to show no emotion. But when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears, or hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, and hoping. For real.